Mashpee TV. We're here this morning with author of a children's book. Her name is Laura Washington. The book is called A Sickness You Can't See, and it deals with addiction in families and how to approach young people and give them insight into what it's like to have someone in the family with an addiction.
Laura, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. So, first of all, give me a little bit about your background.
So I worked in the field of addiction for almost 20 years now. I grew up in Fall River, Massachusetts. I live there still. I love the city. I work in New Bedford. The field I work in is what I love to do. It's my passion. I love to not only help clients, but build programs that best suit the community. I love working with families. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I have two children, and this book is a story about my family.
Wow, nice. So what made you decide to write the book?
So working, in the field, I worked with a lot of families. I did a lot of family interventions, and people didn't know how to talk to children. They do we tell them the truth? Do we not tell them the truth? And I did a lot of prevention work in schools and with doctors' offices, and nobody knew how to talk to the kids. And children of this epidemic that we're in are the unintended consequences. They are the ones that suffer. There's treatment for their family members, and adults can get counseling and talk to other adults, but oftentimes children are left wondering what's going on and why their parents aren't there. And as I worked with a lot of these families and a lot of providers, it's in every family. And so I decided that it was imperative that if I work in this field, I need to share how my family dealt with this issue and how I feel the issue working with children should be dealt with. I think that honesty is always the best because kids have these great imaginations, and so they're going to come up with their own idea of what they think is happening. Many times they blame themselves and they feel alone in it, and that's not the case. I think that if you ask any teacher, probably half of their class, or if not more, have a family that is suffering with addiction issues. It's just the world that we live in now. And so it's important to, unfortunately, we have to normalize it. This is what is in society so we can help each other. And so I decided that I needed to share my story. I'm not, embarrassed of my story. This is what I do for a living, and it's impacted my family. So if I can't share my story and to help other people, then, why am I in the field? So that's how it started.
Great. It's great. So is there an age group that it's targeted towards?
So when I initially wrote the book, I was thinking, 4 to 10 is a good age range. But, as the book got published, and I can't tell you how many adults actually enjoyed reading the book because they identified so much with it and shared it with their teenagers. So ultimately, it is a children's book, but it's a story that is so similar to so many lives that it's actually a good book for everybody. And actually, it's a good book to explain it to the older generation that kind of doesn't understand it but can identify with some of the feelings in the book.
Right. I think that's what we found too, is that there's a lot of grandparents who are raising young children in this day and age.
Yes.
And I think it's a great way for them to broach the subject with their grandchildren who may be living with them too. So
yeah.
One of our viewers sent in a question, and she noticed on the back page, the very last page, you mentioned that the author, the children whose voice we hear the story through, says it's not our fault that he is sick, referring to their father, and we're not embarrassed about our dad's sickness because everyone loves someone that's been sick before. How did you come up with that? That's a great response to it all.
So the individual narrating the book is my niece. She's incredible. And that's the story. And that's how we explained it to the kids growing up. Everybody has someone that's sick. This is what I say to my patients. This is what I say to the families that I work with. So this is not to be embarrassed about. A lot of people feel embarrassed they did something wrong. Everybody has someone in their life that's been sick for something. And so if we're saying that to adults, well, we need to tell children, listen, your mom and your dad, your aunt and your uncle, they're sick, but everybody has someone. So it's normalizing, unfortunately, the sad situation, but you have to. So, and then they can accept that. Oh, that's right. My friend in school has, mom is sick or dad is sick. Everybody has someone that's sick.
Right. And I think that's something that the Mashpee Substance Use Task Force has been trying to drive and get out there, is that message that it's an illness.
Yeah.
It's not, the way people think about it in previous years.
Yeah, and Bill, I say all the time, because there's a lot of stigma behind it. Is it getting better? Yes. But it doesn't matter how the illness got there, because you have a lot of things. It's a choice. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the illness is there. The brain chemistry has changed. There's a process going on. There's no way around it. That person is sick. So it doesn't matter how it got there. They're sick. And the families are left to deal with that. And the children are left to deal with that. So they're sick. And so we explain to the families and the children that it's a sickness.
Nice. So what would be a message that you would have for parents and families who struggle with addiction?
It's nothing to be ashamed of. This, families, you hear it all the time. And if you're listening, you feel alone in this. You feel so isolated in it, because there's so many emotions when you have a family member that you go through. And a lot of guilty emotions. You're angry at that person, but you love that person. And are you doing too much? Are you doing too little? And you feel isolated, and who, knows, but you're not alone. And just like we tell, the children, everybody loves someone that's sick. And it's sad because, and this is a very difficult thing to say, but when you love someone who is in active addiction, it's really like you're grieving the death of someone who's alive. And it's all, and it goes back and forth. And that is a very, very painful thing, to watch the person that you love so much just perishing. And so you're grieving a mourning the death of someone who's not there, and then they get better. And so I say to those family members, you are not alone, and every emotion that you have is okay. Never to feel bad about it, and reach out to people, even if they're not struggling. People think I got to find someone who understands. Someone just to talk to and talk about it. Never keep it in. That's the worst thing to do. And when you start to talk about it and realize that I'm not the only one. Does it take the pain away? No, but it takes the pressure off the way that you're feeling. And so and your story, honestly can help someone else.
Absolutely. That's great. Do you have any plans for a follow-up or an extension of the book?
I do. So Corinne, my niece, is amazing. She is now 20. And what she did was, my sister-in-law, her mother, I still call her my sister-in-law, she's amazing, and she owns a dance school. And so we were always honest with Corinne from the beginning, and she danced. So what she did was, that pain that she felt when her father wasn't there and when he was sick, is that she really turned that pain into something beautiful. And she danced through her pain. And now at 20 years old, she is a very successful dancer. She dances all around the world. She's moving to LA at the end of the month. I'm heartbroken, but she's so brave, and she's been through so much, and she's not ashamed of her story. She'll tell anybody her story. She's not ashamed of her father. And but through her younger years, some of the most profound performances that she did was when she was really dancing through the pain of her father, and that's how she got through it. So yes, so the second book is about that is not the end of your story. A lot of people think this is the end of their story. Well, it doesn't end there. This is just a part of the chapter of a child's life, and that just because your mom or your dad, or maybe both, a lot of times it's both, are sick, you don't have to be sick. That doesn't have to define who you are, and you can do amazing, amazing things. And I have to say, it doesn't affect the child. Nephews and nieces, and families are very close. It impacts everybody. So so to answer your question, yes. Second book, yes. This is not the end of their story, and this is what these children look like. Timothy is in high school, and he wrestles. Olivia in the book loves photography. She just is, and so they're growing up, and nothing was sheltered from them. We tell them the truth. This is it. This is what it looks like. And so book number 2 will come out.
Incredible. You heard it first here on Mastery.
Actually, you did hear it first. Yeah.
All right. We're speaking with Laura Washington, who's written a book. It's focused towards children and how to deal with addiction in the family. And it's called A Sickness You Can't See. Where can we pick it up or get this book?
So it's Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. You can contact me through Facebook. There's a Sickness You Can't See site. So I had to self-publish because I threw the book out there to many companies, and I got back, this is a great idea, but it's too much. It's too deep. It's a big thing for, it's not your average bedtime story, but it's such an important story. So I self-published, and it's done great, and it's on Amazon, and so so you can get it there. Also, you can get it through multiple places. A lot of the schools have it. A lot of the schools have it now. So, but you can always contact me through Facebook on the site, and I can direct you to where you can get those books.
Excellent. Well, again, it's Laura Washington, who's written A Sickness You Can't See, dealing with addiction and how to approach your young children with that message and how to go about dealing with it as a family. And she has agreed today to read the story to us. So, Laura, go ahead and take it away.
So I'll tell you that every piece in this book, the story that I read, and all is something that actually happened. So it's a good. So the book is dedicated to Corinne, Timothy, and Olivia, and all the children that are going through this. They're not alone. So my name is Corinne. I am the oldest sister. I love to dance and hang out with my friends. My little brother and my little sister drive me crazy, but I love them so much. This is my sister Olivia. She plays dress up in my mom's clothes and heels while singing, but she never stops talking. This is Timothy, my brother. He is quiet and he loves to play football. He also is really good at jujitsu. And this is our story. We love to go to our Grammy and Grampy's house. Mom takes us whenever we want. We love to sleep over. They have all kinds of snacks for us. Grammy's homemade brownies and Grampy's favorite ice cream sundaes. We stay up late and watch funny movies. Sometimes we create our own videos of us singing and dancing to silly songs. Sometimes we play hide and seek outside. Grammy and Grampy are the best. They always take us to our favorite spots in New Hampshire for the weekend. We play in the pool, we go for rides on the tall mountains, we look for moose and bear and deer. Olivia never stops talking for the whole ride. Olivia's chattering drives Timothy and me crazy. Grammy tells us we deserve to go on vacation. Our dad's name is Patrick. We love him so much. He is silly and always does funny things like tell funny jokes and stories. Sometimes he lives at Grammy and Grampy's house. We are so happy when he is there because we get to see him. When I was 2 years old, I wanted to play with the toilet plunger all the time. Dad bought me my very own plunger to play with. He used to laugh all the time. He would make everyone else laugh too. He had the biggest laugh and the best smile. Olivia always sat with Dad. She quietly followed him everywhere. He always watched movies with us about dragons and wizard and magic. He always made his famous macaroni and cheese. It was so good. We would love to go to Grampy's house and Grammy's house when he was there. There is something different about my dad, though. My dad is sick, but it's a sickness you can't see. If you look at my dad, you would think he's healthy, but he's not. My Grammy is a nurse. She knows all about sick people. She tells us that somebody can be sick but not look sick. When he is sick, he walks around the house like he has ants in his pants. He doesn't tell his funny jokes. He gets angry easily, and then he leaves. We know Dad is really sick when he's not living at Grammy's house, at Grampy's house. Mom tells us his sickness is called addiction, and it's invisible. Sometimes Dad is gone for a while, and my brother and sister and me don't see him. This makes us sad. One time, we did not see our dad for a whole year. This made us cry. When we don't see our dad for a while, we know he is sick again. We really miss him so much. We miss him so much. To make us feel better, we do things that he loves to do with us, and it makes us happy again. We watch our favorite movies, or we tell his funny jokes to each other. But it's not the same. Dad loves to climb mountains and lift weights. When he is healthy, he climbs the highest mountains and lifts the heaviest weights. When my dad is sick, he doesn't do any of that. He just wants to sleep, and he doesn't look very strong. We still love him very much. Sometimes when my dad is sick, we can hear Mom and Grammy talking about how mad they are at him, and that makes us sad. We're not mad at him. We just really miss him. Mom says that Dad may get better one day, and maybe he won't. It's not our fault that our dad is sick. We're not embarrassed about our dad's sickness because everybody loves someone that's been sick before. Dad loves us very much, no matter how sick he gets. Loving someone with a sickness you can't see is not always easy. And that's the book.
Wow, amazing. And again, it's Laura Washington, A Sickness That You Can't See. Pick up this book. And any final words?
I just hope people get the book. And if you can't afford the book and you can't get the book, please reach out to me and know that you're not alone. You're not. This is in the house of mostly everyone.
Great. Well, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to you after you write your second book.
Yes, thank you. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Thanks. Bye-bye.